Excuse me as I kiss the sky.
I know you read the title of this and was like, this hating ass chick, she's so bitter.
Excuse me as I kiss the sky.
Atlanta women, this message is for you. Now this message is really for all women. I want to tell you how your behavior is detrimental to other women. And as I explain this, you will be able to understand why I'm saying it. So if you happen to run into my son's father, okay, his name is Priest. You happen to run into my son's father, and you come to him and you say, do you have any kids? If this man doesn't say, yes, I have a son, he lives in California with his mother, he is not a man you should be dating. Any woman who decides to date a man who does not take care of his children or acknowledge his children, you are setting yourself up for disaster. Now there's some men out there who take care of other kids but don't take care of their own, or they might have new kids and don't take care of their older children. You know, it's men out there like that. But as women, these are the type of men that we should reject. This is the type of behavior that we should reject. And the reason why a lot of men feel like they can get away with this type of behavior is because too many women allow it. You as a woman should not be dating a man that does not take care of his children. Okay? Now, I'm not telling you don't date him because I want him. I just told you don't date a man who would do something like that. Honestly, after he left me in that hotel room by myself, I already decided in my own mind that maybe he's the type of guy I shouldn't date. But the fact that he doesn't take care of his son is also an additional reason to why, you know, I shouldn't date him. Now, let's talk about before I got pregnant, when I realized suddenly that he was a man that was separated, okay? There's a lot of women out there that say, hey, when you realized he was separated, maybe you shouldn't have dated him. And you are absolutely correct, because I'm telling you, when that man told me that he was separated, when we were sitting on our first date, after he had ample amount of time to tell me this, the plenty of conversations that we had on the phone, I almost threw a goddamn drink in his face. You hear me? Listen, if I hadn't have picked this man up myself and brought him to the restaurant, I would have definitely left his ass. And you know what? I should have just left his ass there, but he wouldn't have had a ride home. I had to drive him. And I'm just a nice person. I didn't want to just leave him sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Then what kind of person would that make me? But I should have stopped talking to him then, and I put a lot of trust in him and his wife at the time and his family. You know, they always made me feel comfortable with the idea of him moving on from his previous situation, which I later found out wasn't a previous situation. And another thing about this man, he has a wife who is very comfortable with knowing that you fucking with him. And regardless to how bad he may treat you, how much he will lie to you, how much he will hurt you, she will be okay with it. Okay, and it's women like that you don't want to be involved with, because these are the type of women you can't even respect their womanhood. I think I made a video recently about the toxic brotherhood. I don't know if I posted yet, but I talked about how men usually team up and support and protect each other. Women don't necessarily do that. We don't do that the same way men do. You know, if we see a woman doing something screwed up, we usually hold them accountable. And so here I am holding my son's father's wife accountable for continuing to be married to this asshole after he left a pregnant woman inside of an extended stay hotel, and he is sitting there rejecting his child. That is not a man that deserves any type of pussy, any type of marriage, any type of acknowledgement from any woman. All women should reject this man. And I'm not saying this because it's him. He could be any man doing this. Listen, I'm not telling all women, hey, avoid just Priest. No, I'm telling women in general. When you see men having this behavior and how they treat other women, Be a part of a sisterhood. Like, okay, we're all women, and you need to learn how to respect your mothers, your sisters, your aunts, your female cousins, your female friends, especially women who have shown you a level of respect. The best part about being a man is having the opportunity to be good to a woman. And it's the same thing with women. The best part about being a woman is to show a man how beautiful a woman can be, how kind a woman can be, how good we can treat a man. There's too many women out there who are comfortable with seeing how men treat women negatively, and you are completely okay with that, and you completely date these guys anyway. Oh, because he cute, maybe he got some money, you know, does he know how to fuck you right, you know, he put that smile and that charm on you. Okay, but don't be a part of the problem, okay? Be a part of the solution. And part of the solution would mean that you actually have to stand up for us as a whole, as women as a whole, and say, you know, as a man, this is not how women want to be treated. This is not how women deserve to be treated. You understand? The way that men treat us is not something we have to continue to just put up with. I'm not saying going around disrespecting men's manhood. Don't do that. I'm just saying certain types of fuckery just don't be okay with. If you find out men aren't taking care of their kids, do not date them. If you find out that men are going around here and they're sleeping with other women, don't be main chick. Okay? If you find out that a man is separated, do what I should have did and throw a damn drink in his face for even being on a date with you because he's married. You see what I'm saying? And that's another thing. Let's not be slow. There's a difference between being married, being separated, and being divorced. But usually people who are separated, they're teetering between, do I still want to be married, or do I want to get a divorce? Don't nobody got time for that. I learned my lesson, and I'm here to teach women to not make the same mistakes that I have. It's a lot of women that watch me that are younger than me. It's other women who may be in a similar experience as I am, and they're probably considering dating a man who is separated. Don't date him at all. Just be his friend and that's it. And if he decides to get divorced, even wait a year or so after he finished being divorced before you start dating him. Or you're going to experience a level of pain and anguish that I can't express. And I'm not saying that all men are the same and all separated men are like this, but honestly, if he really genuinely loves you, if he really wants to be with you, he'll go ahead and get the divorce before he even ends up being with you. In my situation with my son's father, I was really pushing towards this get a divorce thing because in order for him to be with me, him having a divorce was a requirement. So with me and Justice, with Justice being born, I specifically said to him, and his wife at the time was saying, maybe we should get divorced before the baby is born. And for them, they don't have any children together, any property together, so a divorce should be easy. It should be about $300 and that's it. That's how easy a divorce was for them too, and they did not do it. So ladies, number one, do not date a man who does not take care of his children. That's number one. And number two, please do not date a man who is separated. Let him get his divorce. I don't care how many years he claims he's been separated. I know men who have been separated for 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. If they're not legally divorced, don't bother doing it. I'm not saying this on a spiritual level because I did say Priest was my spiritual husband. From a legal standpoint, certain things could happen to you legally. Things could be taken away from you if you decide to deal with this man, depending upon what type of woman his wife is. Now, I'm questioning Priest's wife's character for continuing to be with him after she knows what went on. I do question that, and this is the type of woman I'm telling you ladies to not be. Don't let any man think that the type of behavior remotely close to anything that Priest has done to me is okay, because it's a lot of pick-me women out there. It's a lot of pick-me. We know what the pick-me woman is, okay? They just like, oh, men do blah blah blah, let men do blah blah blah. Like, they'll excuse a man's fuckery in a heartbeat, okay, because they want to be picked so bad. Realize the difference between fuckery and an actual mistake. Like, sometimes men make mistakes. Sometimes there's men out there who actually want to be fathers to their children, and the women in their life are making it difficult for them. It's men out there that's like that. That's not Priest's situation at all. We're talking about men who know they have children, men who have done fuckery when they knew it was wrong and did it anyway because they simply wanted to be assholes. You understand what I'm saying? So as a woman, you are a woman before you are a man's wife. You are a mother before you are a man's wife. So you need to really take in consideration, you know, what type of woman do you want to be? And when you're dealing with other women, or you're seeing your husband and how your husband or your boyfriend deals with other women, the way he treats them is still a reflection of who you are. What you allow, the behavior of your husband, how he carries himself when you aren't around, is still a reflection of who you are as a person. That means you know he has this type of behavior, but as long as he doesn't treat you like that, you're okay with it. It's like you'll look over and see your husband beating the shit out of a woman, and you'll just be like, okay, you know, as long as he's not beating the shit out of me, you know, no. Good men don't do bad things. Good men might make mistakes, but stop attaching yourself to bad men. And when you realize these men are bad men, escape, okay? Let it go. It's gonna hurt. I'm telling you, it hurt me. Like, it really hurt me to let go of this man, because the man he had pretended to be for me was so amazing to me. Like, I just loved the man that he was pretending to be, and I did not know he was pretending to be this man. But when I realized that, is when I ran. Don't put up with the bullshit. Don't put up with the bullshit just to keep a man, okay? That's all I wanted to say, all right? I appreciate you watching. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste. Excuse me as I kiss the sky. Yo, those Atlanta videos I did, oh my God. People are still commenting on those videos. Love insulting me too. Who knew that I'd make a video about how much I hate Atlanta and everyone would comment on it? Listen, if you don't believe me about Atlanta, I'm gonna need for you to go to Walter Lee Hampton's channel, okay? And watch his Niggaville series. He got a whole different perspective of Atlanta. People like, watch, she gonna start making bad videos about California. Let me tell you something. I've been in California, how long? I got here in November of last year. No, December last year. Listen, we almost through my first year, and guess what? Still loving it.
Excuse me as I kiss the sky.
See, what people from Atlanta don't realize, and y'all the main ones complaining. See, I love California. I hated Atlanta from the moment I stepped foot in that place. Atlanta natives be like, oh, you implants, transplants, or whatever you want to call us. Y'all are the ones that messed up Atlanta. Olympics, Freaknik. Y'all moving down here is what destroyed Atlanta. Hello, wait. That is so comical. Listen, the fact that you guys even came up with the concept of Freaknik says a lot about how much y'all love excessive partying and promiscuity. All you did was send the other hoes an invitation to come and party and drink with you and rock with you. Little threesomes in your group sex. Just a whole bunch of fornicators, just inviting everybody to come on through on in. People like, I bet your son's father is from Atlanta, ain't he? That's why you hate Atlanta. First of all, my son's father ain't even from the ATL. Do the transplant too. He just went to Atlanta and adopted the ratchet mentality that all the other ratchet Atlanta men got, that all of the ratchet ATL women accepted. Oh, here's another one they talk about. You was there for 17 years. If you hated it so much, why didn't you leave? Work. I got other people talking about, you can make a whole bunch of money in Atlanta. You just mad because you ain't make no money. Excuse me, I just said I was there for 17 years for work. Let me tell you something. There's levels to money. See, I want that real paper, that real coin, all right? So I had to leave ATL to get it. Oh, and here's another one. Oh, you think it's better in LA than it is in Atlanta? That's Sodom and Gomorrah too. Correction, I do not live in LA, honey. I live in NorCal. I live in the top of California. It's on top. You see what I'm saying? The top everything. Quality, ching. I live in San Francisco, honey. Oh, here's the other one. Why you calling it Sodom and Gomorrah? California is Sodom and Gomorrah too. Okay, all right. How about this? So if California is Sodom and Gomorrah, right? How come we ain't got Waffle House, Mrs. Winters, Bojangles? You know, Cinefood. We ain't got no Cinefood over here. Everybody's eating healthy and loving life. People out here exercising, they getting it on. You know, everybody vegan over here. Y'all know where Atlanta ghetto booty came from? Chicken and biscuits, gravy, all that soul food, just pork, you know, pig feet. That southern food to match that southern hospitality. Don't even get me started on that southern hospitality because it is not real at all in Atlanta. It was never there, okay? I thought maybe because people were being a little bit nice in the 2000s in Atlanta that maybe they had some type of hospitality because, you know, they said hello, because they don't say hello where I come from. You get shanked if you say hello. There's people about their business. Why are you saying hello to me? I'm gonna need for you to keep on walking and just move it. But nah. See, they like to pull you in, you know, looking beautiful like a Venus flytrap, and then they eat you and then they pounce on you. It's all a facade, baby. It's all a facade. Lastly, here's my favorite one. Oh, Soncerae, you must be mad because you failed with your music career. I see you can sing. You mad because your singing career ain't work out. What? Oh my God. You guys made me want to quit. Not because I was bad at it. Not because I failed at it. It's because I realized that people inside of the entertainment industry in Atlanta are full of crap. Stealing from Paul to get a Peter, or what is it, Peter to Paul, something like that. Stealing from Peter to Paul, something like that. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Is it robbing Peter to pay Paul? I'm sorry, but the fuckery in that place is real. ATL, ho. Why you think they say ho after ATL, ho? Let me tell you something. Atlanta is these birds, man. These birds. Atlanta's a beautiful city, okay? It looks good on the outside. Don't let the outside fool you, okay? Don't let them tall buildings with all the glass on it just make you think that it's a wonderful place. Oh, it looks nice. It's a good place to visit. Live not so much. And to the people who keep trying to make it seem like because a person lives in neighboring counties or cities, they don't know nothing about Atlanta. Shut up. You ain't stupid. Be quiet. Just all in my comment section. Offended. Just mad. They was like, you ghetto ratchet chick with your dirty house. I was like, this ain't even my house. This ain't even my room. That's what I get for filming at somebody else's house. Y'all the reason why I won't film in my house. I got people stalking me, looking at dirt behind me. I'm like, I don't know whose dirt that is. Listen, if I'm doing a video, the only thing that actually belonged to me in the video is my baby. Don't even get me started on all of the churches. It's way too many churches in Atlanta on every single corner. And I'm telling you, I done tried to go to every single one because I used to be a minister when I came to Atlanta. I was converted. Satan's demons just transformed me into a whole nother person. Oh, demonic ass place. I went to Bishop Addie Long Church. Oh my God, it was like hell in HD. I went to Creflo Dollar Church. I never seen a man ask you for your tax information and everything. Oh, wait a minute. I'm supposed to pay tithes and give you like my tax information and access to my bank accounts and all type of stuff. I mean, goodness. The preacher of prosperity. And honestly, when I started ministering, a woman of God changing lives through Christ with Sister Perry Nixon, formerly known as Pebbles TLC's manager. Oh my God. I was supposed to be baptized in the water. But unfortunately, I feel bamboozled like I got baptized in the golden shower. Listen, a person like me, you can make it anywhere. Regardless to what city or state, if you a hustler, you can do it. I've done it. I didn't leave Atlanta because I couldn't make it. I left Atlanta for a better opportunity, something better than Atlanta. And if you leave Atlanta and travel the world, you will see that there are so many wonderful things outside of that city that are way better. So I encourage you to move. I encourage you to travel. I encourage you to live your best life now. I appreciate you watching. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste. Hey, it's your girl Soncerae right here. Make sure you check out the latest game, Jack. blast, bubble, shooter. That's for those of you that like these little games that you playing on your phone all the time. It's an app. My mother be playing them games all the time. They got some free games out there, but they got some games that cost as well. And those free games, $12.99, $12.99, $12.99, all down my mother's bank account. I be looking like, you just addicted. You addicted. You worse than a person that gamble in Vegas all the time. You just addicted. But anyway, make sure you check out this game, okay? I know some of y'all be at work like, I need something to take my mind on this. This shit is just crazy up in here. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.
Hey, it's your girl, Miss Soncerae here, and I want to welcome you to UnicornAtlanta.club. Have you heard about my book yet? Yeah, my book is interesting. Unicorn Atlanta is basically about me moving from DC to Atlanta and discovering my bisexuality. And you know, a lot of people don't know that I'm bisexual because I don't really scream it to the rooftops. But I definitely wanted to make sure that my book included the LGBT community. People always say that Atlanta is like the gay capital of the world for the Black community. To me, I see a lot of homosexuality in the Atlanta area, and it's not like this horrible thing. But when I tell people that I'm bisexual, they have a lot of questions. They don't understand, you know, bisexuality. The first thing they ask me is like, why, if a woman is a lesbian, why does she want a butch? The questions that I get about it are interesting. They ask me stuff like, were you born this way? When did you know that you were bisexual? People act negatively towards things that they don't understand. So it's a lot of people out there that look at homosexuality or bisexuality or the swingers lifestyle or polygamy and all that stuff. They look at it so negatively because it's not something they can understand, simply because it's something that they were told that they shouldn't do. A lot of people have hand-me-down traditions and ideologies and ideas and ways of living their life that were taught to them by people that their parents or their pastor or something like that, and they never took the time to explore life themselves. So with Unicorn Atlanta, I talk about how I went from being Christian to Buddhist. I have a lot of sexuality inside of my book, but I also have a lot of information in there about metaphysics, quantum physics, spirituality, the laws of the universe. I speak very candidly about my life experiences, and so, you know, before everybody thinks my book is some Corinne Steffens put everybody on blast book, you know, I want you to understand the premise of Unicorn Atlanta. It's a very controversial book because I do name people. I do talk about how I ended up finding out I was bisexual. I end up talking about all of the things that I explored. You know the term bi-curious? I think that's what I was. 'Cause I see girls and I think they're attractive, but I don't go after them, you know. I think I can only get with a woman sexually. Like, I couldn't, like, fall in love with one. I'm not going to say that. Let me scrap that, because that might not be some accurate information. I want you guys to take the time out to go to UnicornAtlanta.club and look at the synopsis, and I want you to purchase it. I want you to purchase it because it's going to teach you. A lot of my life is so entertaining and so dramatic, and it's so many lessons. As I was reading it back, like, I wrote it down, and as I was reading it back, I was like, my goodness, my life is so, like, just a lesson, and it is so entertaining, and it's like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm surprised I survived some of this stuff. The main character in my book is this guy by the name of Chris Law. So if you go into my YouTube channel, I have a playlist, and on that playlist is a video of him, you know, talking about how he feels about, you know, what happened between he and I. And he introduced me to the lifestyle, so that's why he's part of the book. But he went on to another YouTuber's channel and decided that he wanted to, you know, discuss what I said about him and, you know, how he feels about the book. And you know what? It's fair for him to talk about his side of the story. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says, and I want to call him a lying bastard, but what would Jesus do? I want to be a little bit more proactive and positive when it comes to this book. Like, I need people to understand that regardless of the drama and the entertainment and the scandal and the controversy, this book is a positive book, and you won't know that until you order it. And I'm taking pre-orders now. Depending upon how many pre-orders I get will depend upon the release date. And the interesting part about it is, like, so many people are pre-ordering, and I appreciate you guys pre-ordering and supporting me, especially inside of the LGBT community. You guys are purchasing. Like, a lot of people are emailing me saying, hey, I'm bisexual, or I'm lesbian, and I don't want to tell anybody, but in your book is helping me feel comfortable with being a lesbian or being bisexual, or your book has made me feel comfortable with polygamy and the different types of relationships. You have to understand that people love certain people for certain reasons. You can never love two people the same. So each situation is extremely different, and people are like, bitch, you hoe, you fuck somebody's husband. Yeah, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, baby. Yeah. Nobody is perfect, and I'm not trying to be perfect, and I don't want anybody to feel like that's the aim for me. But go to unicornatlanta.club and check out the book, and you let me know. Give me some reviews. Let me know what you think. I appreciate the support. Please like, subscribe, and share. Bye. Hey guys, it's the God Queen Soncerae here. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share on my YouTube channel. And I appreciate you following me on Spreaker. You can follow me on all of my socials. My Instagram is Soncerae_XO. So the one thing that I have been going through, during this breakup has been everyone consistently using God and the devil to explain to me why the things inside of my relationship happened. Now, those of you that don't know, I just went through a breakup. I'm sitting here pregnant. I'm about to start my 5th month of pregnancy tomorrow. And the man that I loved, was going to marry, was living with, was starting a family with, decided randomly one day that he wanted to call me from work and tell me that he didn't love me, that he wanted to be in a relationship with his ex. He wanted to start dating her, that he still had feelings for her, but didn't have feelings for me, didn't want our baby, and didn't know what to do with me. So while he was sitting there just massively confused, not knowing what he wanted to do with me, I let him off the hook. I told him to come get his stuff and leave and don't ever come back. When he came to get his things out of my studio apartment, which is a / extended stay hotel. Long story. I made sure I wasn't here, because when I said to him that I never wanted to see him again, I wanted him to believe me. So in order for me to plant that seed in his mind, I had to literally not be here when he came and got his things. So he came to get his things, and it shocked not only my family, my friends, but thousands of people, because thousands of people believed that he and I was like this perfect couple. So he disappointed thousands. All right. Not only did he disappoint me, he disappointed thousands. So since our breakup, which was 3 weeks ago, everyone and their mama has been trying to figure out what the fuck happened, because logically it doesn't make any sense. No man who has a pregnant girlfriend that he no longer wants to be with is going to try to leave this woman stranded inside of a hotel 3 times already. So by the time he tells her he don't love her, she's telling him get out and don't come back. Okay, that's unusual. It doesn't seem logical. So everyone's trying to figure out, what happened? You guys were so in love. We saw so many pictures and so many videos of you two looking great. What happened? And so I try to tell people the circumstances, what happened, the pros, the cons. Still, everybody is clueless. They don't understand. I don't understand. Most people don't understand. Counselors don't understand. Pastors, ministers don't understand. Motivational speakers, they don't get it. I'm just, talking to everybody to try to see if anybody could figure out what really is going on in the mind of this man. Everybody wants to know what the fuck is wrong with Priest. And me, I'm the only one who stopped giving a fuck the very day I said, leave and don't come back. Because all he had to do to get me to never want to see him again is for him to tell me that he didn't want our baby. That was the deal breaker. And on top of that, he was saying he wanted to date his ex. And on top of that, he was saying he didn't love me. So then I stopped trying to figure out what was wrong with him, because for weeks before that, he was acting like an asshole. And it was strange to me because he didn't begin acting like this kind of asshole until I got pregnant. Because before that, we had a spiritual connection. I loved him. He always showed me a level of respect. He always did, what he was supposed to do. He always did what he said he was going to do outside of him supposedly finalizing his paperwork, his divorce papers. Everything else he was doing, everything else he was working on. He was working on improving his life. And then suddenly, he just decided one day, you know what, he wanted to give up, and he no longer wanted to be a good person. He started reminding me of Satan. It got so bad, I started calling him Satan. And it would make him angry. But at the same time, anytime I mention Jesus Christ, or I say Jesus Christ accidentally, he'd feel some type of way. He'd tell me, Jesus ain't going to save you. So stop saying Jesus Christ. You're Buddhist. And I'm like, yo, I only say Jesus Christ out of habit. I used to be a minister. So I'm saying Jesus Christ, out of habit. But it would make him so annoyed. And he would say something every time. And I'd be like, let it go. So now that we're broken up, everybody's telling me, have faith in God, believe in God. God did this. I say, yeah, God did give me a blessing, which is my baby, but I still don't understand why I had to go through all of this just to get my baby. Why did I just get my baby and not also my husband and my family? This was something that I wanted to do with Priest specifically, not just any random man. If I wanted to have a baby, just have a baby, I could have had a baby by just any random nigga. But I literally was like, one day I want to have a family with this man specifically. And lo and behold, it happens. So then now I got a whole bunch of single women coming to me, telling me to pray, continue to pray for a man, because soon my Boaz is coming. Now, if you don't know the story of Ruth and Boaz in the Bible, I'm going to need you to take some time to look at this. A lot of churches, black churches, have convinced single women to wait for their Boaz. And a lot of women are out here asking, why hasn't my Boaz come? It's been 3 years. It's been 4 years. It's been 6 years. I'm still praying that my Boaz is not here. And women will continue to wait. They'll be celibate. They'll put their best efforts in. Then they'll start getting frustrated because it seems unfair that the hoes get wifed up. But the Christian women sitting there waiting for their Boaz. Now, to me, they're waiting for something that ain't never going to come. But at church, they're going to tell you that the reason why your Boaz ain't come yet is because you don't completely trust God. That's bullshit to me. That's bullshit to me, because I think there's plenty of women out here who trust in God completely and have waited years on top of years on top of years on top of years for their Boaz. And having faith in Christianity and that something positive is going to come out of life, that's good to me. But the whole concept of Ruth and Boaz doesn't have anything to do with the romantic love between Ruth and Boaz. It has to do with Christ's love for the people. But they don't teach black women this at church. They teach you your Boaz hasn't come yet because you haven't embraced any self-reflection. They're going to tell you you're scared of being vulnerable. They're going to tell you that all the pain and the disappointment that happened to you in the past is holding you back. You're still holding on to that. You're a little bitter. So your Boaz ain't here yet. But I want women to stop feeling like they Ruth to begin with, because Ruth was a widow. She was childless. She was a widow. She was considered someone at the lowest economic class, and she needed a man to marry her in order to be her protector and her provider. Now, we in a new age now. It's women out here doing it for themselves. It's women as CEOs and executives of companies. It's women out here buying tasers and guns and knives. These women do not need protectors or providers. Back then, unmarried women were cared for by their fathers until they were given into marriage to a husband who took the responsibility. Ruth's father-in-law and brother-in-law also died, so she had no provider either. Of course, she couldn't get a job. She couldn't develop a career. That's not women nowadays. We got a lot of opportunity. So I don't like that women are comparing themselves to Ruth. You're not Ruth, okay? You're not in that same predicament. Secondly, back then, women were considered like some type of prize, some type of property. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't value yourself. I'm saying you were literally considered some type of material. Okay? So back then, you were property. You were like a house or a car. Okay? Now, the closer relative to Ruth was supposed to be the one that took care of her, to marry her. Now, going back to this whole thing I said about how the story between Ruth and Boaz don't have nothing to do with romance, because it's actually just a representation of Christ's love for the church. Here's a good example. Boaz, nowhere in the book where they talk about Ruth and Boaz do they say anything about how he loved her. It say he loved the word of God. He wanted to do right by the law. They say he was, a generous person, integrity. He had care. But he loved God's law and wanted to do the right thing. He didn't necessarily love Ruth. He didn't fall in love with Ruth. So while the church teaches a whole bunch of single women to sit here and wait for Boaz, they also teach these women that there's some kind of romantic comedy thing happening here, where this man is going to fall deeply in love with her. Boaz was not in love with Ruth. That's not what he saw. He saw a woman who had a reputation, and it was him who needed to provide for her because of the law. The law called him to do that, so he set out to marry her. It didn't have anything to do with him loving her. And so that's why he married her. So in order for the prophecy to be revealed, for the prophecy to even happen, the birth of Jesus Christ, Boaz and Ruth had to get together and get married to fulfill that prophecy so that Jesus could be born in the lineage of King David. All right. Ruth and Boaz had a son who was King David's grandpa. So Ruth had to marry Boaz so they could have his child, so they could secure Jesus' lineages. And that's the prophecy. So the main point of the story inside of this Bible has to do with the prophecy of Jesus Christ's birth. It has nothing to do with romance. And so it bugs me every time somebody comes to me and says some shit along the lines of, you're going to find your Boaz. Keep praying. Boaz did provide for her. He redeemed her. He sheltered her. That's beautiful. But like I said, that is a representation of Christ's love for his people. So Christ basically stepped in, supposedly, to redeem us. So the story of Ruth and Boaz is an analogy about Christ's love for his people. And they don't teach that to women in the church. They teach them that the Ruth and Boaz story is a romantic story between two people. They just flip the analogy all around when basically the analogy is about Christ's love for his people. Boaz is a picture of Christ. Ruth could not save herself. She needed a provider, and Boaz was that. He redeemed her. Christ redeemed us, according to the Bible. So it burns me on the inside when people say, hey, Soncerae, you're going to find your Boaz. Listen, I don't even want to be in a relationship ever again. Before I met Priest, I was telling everybody I don't want to be in a relationship again. And everybody was like, yo, you should go ahead and be with Priest. Do it. And now that he's gone, they're like, you're going to find true love. That wasn't true love. This is God trying to teach you a lesson. I'm like, listen, I'm done with the lessons. I'm done with the sandpaper, with somebody trying to make me smooth or make me strength, give me some strength. This is supposed to make me stronger as a person, as a human being. I don't doubt that. But what I have an issue with is when people say to me, you know, the devil is doing this to you. The devil is trying to take such and such from you. He's trying to take something that God gave you. And I think to myself, at some point, you got to be like, why would God even put me in a position to even have to deal with anything that has to do with the devil? And I want to show people how much negativity, how much evil could be in this world by me actually leaving the comments open on this chat, leaving the user ratings open. Because what I've noticed lately as I've been posting speakers and videos and live streams is that my demographics are 50% woman, 50% man. So you guys can't see my user ratings right now because I don't usually show them. And now everything is half and half. Every single video is half and half. And then because I was just on Tommy's show, I have a whole bunch of trolls, a whole bunch of evil coming onto my channel. So I want to see how much evil I get off of this video. If people even watch it. I want to see how many insults are put inside of this comment section. And I'm going to leave the comment section open. And let's see if I get any positivity on this video. Let's see how many people talk about Christianity. Let me see how many people actually have faith in God who actually check this video out. I want to see who has something positive to say. And I want to see how many trolls will actually comment on this on my YouTube channel. Because as of lately, the trolls have filled it up. So let's see what the trolls and the Christians and the God-fearing people and the haters say inside of my comment section about this. Because I have a strong feeling it's going to be insults in here about black women, black bitches, single black bitches, how I should get an abortion, how I should kill a baby. I've seen a Christian, someone who classifies themselves as a Christian, come into my comment section and tell me to murder my child in the name of God. And they think that that's appropriate. So I want to see what everybody has to say about what I just said and how they feel about black faith in this whole Ruth and Boaz analogy. I want to hear what people have to say about that. So I'm going to leave the comment section wide open, and I want to see how many thumbs down and thumbs up I get. Because for the past, 2 weeks, it's been half and half. It's almost like men versus women. And this is the first video I've made about religion and Christianity in about a month. So I want to see what people have to say. And let's see if we can stay on topic and be respectful. I doubt it, but let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. This should be very, very interesting. If you want to donate to me and the baby, because we trying to move to California and the goal is $5,000, you can go to Soncerae.com and click on the donate tab, and you will get instructions there. Or you can send me donations via PayPal by using my email address, welovesoncerae@gmail.com. It's up to you. Let's get that comment section popping. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm a little busy today. I got a lot going on. I started driving Uber really early this morning at about 2 a.m. because my mother has surgery today. One of her arteries is clogged and it's messing with her heart. So we have been dealing with this for about a little over a month now. And she's going into surgery today, so I went out and decided to drive Uber earlier so I could, tend to that. But I wanted to talk about this Facebook post I saw. And it was talking about how women want a ready-made man when they themselves don't have their stuff together. And what happened to finding a partner and growing with that partner. Okay. And so my thing is simply this. The reason why women no longer are looking for a man's potential is because men have been selling women this picket fence dream of them two working together and building this family together. A lot of women have been sold the dream, so they're no longer looking for men for their potential. You understand? Women are now, working on themselves and looking for men who can elevate them to the next level. If that man isn't already a level of success higher than her, she does not want to deal with him. This is basically a traditional thought process. I don't know why men are surprised that women think this, because this has always been how it's been. Why do you think women have been wanting to get married? I mean, in the 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s, the whole concept of marriage is so that a woman could be provided for. Women, needed to be taken care of because there were certain things we couldn't do. We couldn't tie our own shoes. We couldn't go to work. We couldn't vote. Men were the providers for us. So why does it shock men now that all of these independent women walking around here, doing whatever they can for their lives are also requiring that men still be as independent and as much of a provider as they used to be? It's not an old concept for a woman to want that in a man. But what most women have stopped doing or discontinuing doing is being with a man
really who was working on himself. Maybe he was in college. Maybe he was, making these promises that he was going to be better financially or career-wise. Women are no longer looking at that potential. And that era of women looking for a man's potential was kind of short, because I think women realized in a little period of time that simply because Michelle Obama stuck by Barack Obama and he ended up being the president of the United States, it doesn't mean that every single man that these women are going to run into is that same type of person or has that same character. That's like an exception to the rule. I think there was a time, like even me for myself, I wanted to believe in the potential of men. I wanted to believe that the dreams that other men had or goals that other men had, they could accomplish those dreams, and I would be the one that would help them with those dreams. Nothing wrong with being a helpmate. It's nothing wrong with you assisting your partner with their life. But then it got to a point where, as a woman, we're starting to deal with men who are like projects, to where we literally got to build a bear type of man. You know what I mean? Like, we literally have to sit down and instruct him on how to become the type of man that he wants to be, even if he knows even what type of man he wants to be. Like, most men don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, most men are walking around here just confused, walking around here more concerned about cars, how many women they can sleep with, is their outfit nice, do they have their hair trim nice, or is their beard game on fleek, stuff like that, like stuff that men shouldn't even be worried about, instead of more concerned about their legacy, what their finances are looking like. Are they investing in stock? Do they have properties? Are they picky about who they have children with? I mean, most of these men are walking around here not even thinking about their future. So when these type of things happen, evolution happens, and people start changing and adapting and surviving. And it's basically a whole bunch of people walking around here being a product of their environment, whether it has to do with a woman making better choices or different choices in men, or whether it's men going around here not choosing right or not making the best decisions. A lot of men who didn't make the best decisions didn't have the best father figures or role models. And that's why I'm so concerned about my son. And I'm very, very selective about the men that I have around my son. And I want to be very, very clear on the intentions of any male that is interacting with my son, because I want my son to be able to understand the concept of not just providing for himself, but also providing for his woman, or assisting her with his life, her life, and also requiring for her to help as well. It needs to be a two-way street here. It can't be this one-sided situation to where a woman is going out here doing everything she can to make sure her relationship is healthy and supporting him while he's, frying French fries at McDonald's. And then when he turns around and he becomes this executive of this company, he ends up divorcing her or leaving her to turn around and be with a woman who might be younger, or a woman who might be slimmer, or a woman who might not even be black, and she's black. The wife is black. Little stuff like that. Like, those things can be very, very hurtful to a person who has invested their time into someone. These men are walking around here wasting women's time. That's why women are choosing that. Oh, shit. Damn it. Am I going the right way? I hope I'm going the right way. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going the right way. Because I'm trying to get to my mom, and I gotta make sure I'm going the right way. I was a little worried. So anyway, these women don't want their time wasted. No woman wants her time wasted. No woman wants to, help a man study and help him get his master's degree or bachelor's degree or whatever. And then he turns around, graduates from college. They're sitting there struggling, the entire time he's in college, because he doesn't necessarily have the career or the time to have the job that he needs to have to provide for the family. And she's going out here working 2 and 3 jobs or whatever, and being mom, taking care of kids. And suddenly this guy decides that he wants to, leave and be with someone else. That's a waste of time. Or it's guys out here that are just flat out lazy. They're flat out lazy, and they're telling women, oh, this is what I want to be, this is what I want to do, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Like, even my last relationship, all he needed to do was really get his GED. So as we were working towards getting the GED, I could tell with time he was getting lazy or frustrated with the fact that it got hard. Like, a lot of men don't like anything that's hard, like anything that requires them to have to put in some type of energy or some type of strength. A lot of men just don't like it. A lot of men are just flat out lazy. And I saw that a lot in Atlanta. Like I said before, I don't know if I made a video about this, but everyone would always say there's 20 women to every one man there. Well, yeah, that's kind of like the truth. I don't know if it's the exact number, but I do know that from the second I stepped foot in Atlanta, I saw that women were the breadwinners. Women were the one that would go out and do the work. And then these women would bring their money home to their man, and that's how it worked in Atlanta. And I was just like, wow, that's like a backwards concept. You know what I mean? I could see if two people were doing for each other, because it's a partnership. That's your partner. Y'all supposed to both bring something to the table equally, or not even equally. At least it brings something. And a lot of these men just weren't doing nothing but laying around and smoking weed, laying around sleeping with other chicks, and it didn't make any sense to me. Like, every time I would hear like these stories from other girls, I would find out that their man out here messing with another girl, and he living his girlfriend apartment, and he ain't got his own place or car or something weird like that. That's how the men were in Atlanta. And it was just like, wow, these men don't have no goals, no aspirations. No, I don't know. They don't care about their legacy or their name or anything like that. So that's why women are starting to be like, you know what, forget this. If this man doesn't have his self together, even if I don't have myself together, I'm still knowing for sure that I'm working on myself. Most of the time when a woman says she's working on herself, or she is in the process of trying to improve, usually that's how it goes. Like, women are a lot more disciplined in that department. I'm not going to say there aren't any women out there who are lazy, but a lot of women out there, have so many goals and things that they want to do, and they actually accomplish these things because we happen to just be a little bit more disciplined in regards to that. But men aren't necessarily like that. So I think basically women are just stepping their game up. They're hiring their standards. They're requiring more from men, and that's actually a good thing, because I think a lot of women weren't requiring enough from men, so that was putting these men in a position to be lazy. Like, these women were letting these men off the hook all of the time, and so once you get used to being let off the hook so many times, you end up getting lazy. That's another reason why I said, I love the hustle of where I live. Like, the city where I live, and I live in the Bay, I live in San Francisco. Any hustle that you have, any city, that you live in, like, say for instance, New York City or Washington, D.C., any big city, you gotta have a hustle. You can't be lazy, or you're not going to be able to survive in that city. You understand? Like, you have to have more than one hustle. You have to have a job and some side hustles. I mean, I know people in Atlanta who had one job and a whole bunch of side hustles, but in a city, if you live in a big city, you have to have the hustle. You can't get lazy. And to me, there were a lot of people in the state of Georgia who were extremely lazy because you weren't required to do a lot in order to make money. It was chump change money, but you weren't required a lot of money to live there. And so when people brag about living in Atlanta, or they live in these, huge houses that they got for cheap, I'm not impressed. What would impress me is if a man or a woman was living in a city as big as this, or like I said, maybe New York, DC, stuff like that, where the cost of living is so high, and you are living in a place like this, and you can afford living here. People who are like famous or celebrities, and they have properties in Atlanta, they're like hood rich in Atlanta, or whatever the case may be, these people would not be able to afford living here. So it would not impress me, if someone came to Atlanta and lived like this amazing life there, because to me, that's not luxury living. That's just a whole bunch of, properties, a whole bunch of space down there that's for the low. People try to say living in Atlanta is expensive, but I lived there for 17 years, and it wasn't expensive those 17 years I lived there. Now that I've moved, people are saying that it's expensive, but it's still not one of the most expensive cities in the United States. I live in one of the most expensive cities in the United States. Like, this is the most expensive place to live, and people are out here hustling, doing the damn thing. They don't really have a lot of time to sit here and be lazy. So I could understand if you lived in an environment like this one, for you to be looking in the direction of whoever it is that you're dating and classifying them as a partner. You got better prerequisites. You're thinking, okay, well, this person has to have X, Y, and Z before I even consider taking them serious. I mean, and honestly, that seems like it's a good idea, because if you want somebody to take you serious, right, they have to value something. Like, they have to be taking something serious themselves. A lot of people aren't taking life serious, their education serious, their money serious. They're just sitting around wasting a whole bunch of time, trying to have fun, trying to sleep around, trying to drink, trying to smoke weed, trying to, be hood rich and have all these outfits and, just have no sense of reality, right? Have this false sense of what success is, and they aren't taking their lives serious. So I understand why a woman who, wants more for her life could have a higher standard. Now, if there's a woman out there who, like I've heard men say, that there's women out there who want men who are muscular and work out, but they themselves don't work out. They're overweight. They don't take care of themselves, X, Y, and Z. Well, I understand how that could be, that woman could be classified as a woman that doesn't have her stuff together. And there should be no reason why she would be looking for a man that isn't on her level. I said before, A pluses should date A pluses and C minuses should date C minuses. But then you have the exceptions to the rule. Ladies, there are women out there who met this guy who was like muscular and, he was all a gym rat or whatever. And she was overweight and wasn't taking care of herself. And then he led her. He steered her in the right direction. And then she ended up slimming down and losing weight and becoming a gym rat herself. That's good leadership. If you are an unhealthy person and then you meet a healthy person and then you two get together and then this person turns you into a healthy person, that's good leadership right there. But you can't expect, ladies and gents, you can't expect to be an unhealthy person and then get in a relationship with a healthy person and then you stay unhealthy and you think that the person that you're in a relationship with is going to stay with you. That's not a healthy situation. Why wouldn't you want to be the best version of yourself for someone who is being the best version of themselves for you? That's the problem inside of these relationships. That's what's happening with a lot of women. They're trying to go out here and be the best version of themselves for their man. And then their man is going around here making these promises as if he's going to be like this amazing guy or this guy who's going to be at his full potential. And then they come to find out that this man isn't even working on himself like he's supposed to. That's wasting people's time. Don't nobody have time for all that. Don't nobody have time for that. Even when I was in my early 20s, I was like, I ain't got time for that. I definitely don't have time for that now that I'll be 40 next year. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has time for that. So if there are men out there who are confused about why women no longer look for the potential of a man, that's why. Because no one wants their time wasted. Nobody wants to keep, putting all of this energy and this time and this money into another person's like dreams or aspirations, and they're not getting that same like energy in return, or this man ends up leaving her after she done invested all of this time and energy. No one wants to deal with that. No one, like, people aren't really just going to take it for face value and be like, okay, you was only supposed to be a chapter in my book, not someone that I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Like, a lot of people don't know how to accept that a person is only supposed to be in their lives temporarily. You definitely don't want to accept that if you put all of this energy into them and they didn't give it back to you in return. It's like you could have spent that money that you spent on this man tuition on maybe your kids or your own tuition, or buying, or putting a down payment for a car that you want or something like that, or putting money towards home ownership. Instead of you doing that, you spending a chunk of the money that you earn for yourself and your savings to spend on somebody else who ain't even taking you serious. You understand? So that's why women aren't doing that. I just wanted to clarify that. Ladies, if you have any relationship questions, You can email me at soncerae@gmail.com. Okay, fellas, you can do the same. If you are a single mother, make sure you put in the subject line hashtag the matriarch, and we'll go from there. Okay, have vision and stay focused, guys. Namaste.